So, you have to have a vision, clarity of goal. You have to have a conviction and faith that it's going to happen. And I tell you the best story about faith from the Ramayana, which is not in the Ramayana. When Ram, Sita, Lakshman, all that happened afterwards, the war was won. On the way to Ayodhya, they pitched a tent at Marina Beach in Chennai. About midnight, Ram got out of his tent, went to Marina Beach, picked up in the ocean, threw it in the water, and it sank. He picked up another one, threw it in the water, that too sank. Picked up the third one, same thing. He kept on throwing, all the stones kept on sinking. Hanumanji's Angarakshak, his bodyguard, watching this operation from a palm tree, climbed down. He goes to Ram. He says, Bhagwan, you fought all this war. And what are you doing at midnight throwing stones in the water? Ram was very embarrassed. He said, you monkeys have been lying to me. So Hanumanji said, what are you saying, Bhagwan? We never lied to you. He said, you monkeys told me that you put my name on these stones and you threw them into the water and they started floating. I am throwing, each one of them is sinking. Hanumanji started laughing. He said, Bhagwan, when we put your name on these stones, we had faith in you. You don't, you are doubting yourself. And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna tells Arjuna, Sanshayatma vinashyati. One who doubts destroys himself. And I'm not talking about faith means blind faith. I'm talking about faith with its intrinsic belief system in that you can achieve something. And the goodness and the potential that you have, which is the propelling force when you want to achieve something. And people will tell you all kinds of things. Since Poddar Sahib mentioned my name, Rooshikumar, I tell you something about my name. I almost got thrown out of my school. When I was studying in Ahmedabad, and I was in Inter-Arts at LDR College, and one of my professors said something, it was not right. So I told him that's not right. So he didn't like it. Professors at that time didn't like it, they don't like it this time either. So when the student says something. So he took me to the principal, rusticate him. So principal says, I want to see your parents. I said, listen, I knew what my father will do if So I said, my parents cannot come. He said, why? I said, my father is out of town, my mother is illiterate. She wouldn't understand what you say. She said, then you get to be kicked out of the university. I said, fair enough. I figured that's the end of my student career, so be it. So I said, he didn't expect me to say, I cannot do this, I'm ready to go. So the principal was a language professor by training, academically. So he looks at me, he says, Rooshikumar, with a name like yours, you have to be very, very saint-like. I thought, I hate sarcasm. I hate one thing that people say, like yesterday I told you if you were there, what can I do for you? That's all this condescending thing I cannot. So I said, I was a student of Sanskrit, so I looked at him. I thought, I'm going anyway, so let me have the parting shot. So I said, Principal sir, you are a language professor. And he didn't expect this. He said, yes. I said, Rooshikumar is Shashti Tat Purush, which means I am a son of Rishi. I don't have to be there. If you want to expect this, if you expect saintliness, go to my father. He looks at me, he said, you're smart. So I didn't say anything. He said, can you pass the course without attending the classes? I said, yes. In top, I'll do it. He said, okay. So he compromised, and I was allowed to appear for the exam. So I passed, therefore I'm here. Just in case you doubt it. I got a certificate. So the point is, and the Prof became my friend afterwards. The point is, you have to have that spark if you want to succeed. But people will say anything. I remember in, teachers there, and this creativity in the system that we have is looked down on. I remember in Bombay, where you got to register your kids before they are born for a school admission. And then you interview parents and the kids and everything. It's terrible. And they were interviewing this kid, and the principal asked him, he said, do you know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? So kid says, my mother taught me, you don't know, she will teach you also. I think that's great, you know. I will admit her. Did the kid get admitted in India? What do you think? This thing we can't stand. When Sam Pitroda came to Delhi, all the school kids got up and said, good morning, sir, you know, in uniform. He said, what is this? Kids are they're supposed to be hanging on the trees. Now, they should not be wearing a tie and telling me, good morning, sir. I mean, this is not how you cultivate and nurture creativity in young people. You know. And we have fantastic potential which has been inhibited by such system. And I know the system because I've been in the system. So I want you to appreciate the fact that if you want to bring something out of your kids, you know, tell them that they have all the good things going for them and they are capable. And don't compare them with others. And don't force them into something they don't want to do. See, all the people who succeeded in doing something, they love what they were doing. That is another thing. And money is not the issue ever. It's nothing to do with money. It's just something you love doing and therefore you're doing it. Not for the reward it will bring you. Premchandji died pauper, one of the greatest writers in Hindi literature. Maithili Sharan Gupta, the same thing. You know. So the point is, they didn't worry that if I did this, that will fetch me money. You got to do it for the love of it. And then you will succeed, because when you love it, like I tell you an example, one of the saddest things I ever witnessed in my life. I was hiring a CEO for a pharma company. I was doing the interviewing. I was hired to help the company. So I was doing shortlisting and interviewing every candidate. This one candidate I almost decided on. It was great. It was a CEO job for a pharma company, 50 lakh salary, you know, about 5 years back. And as I was about to conclude, I asked the person, I said, do you have any questions? You know what that person asked me? He said, yes, sir, I have a question. I said, what is it? How many casual leave I get? I felt so terrible. I wanted to tell that person, we got a clerk's job open also. Yeah, we got a clerk's position available if you want casual leave. In 33 years, ladies and gentlemen, I've been teaching internationally. I have not missed one single day. Never been absent. Why? Because I love it. I don't want casual leave. Because when you are excited about doing something, you are not looking for a break away from it. So love your work. If you want to succeed, one of the most important criteria is that you got to love what you're doing. You cannot succeed that you hate. You cannot succeed in something that you hate. You cannot stand it because every morning is Monday, so God, I got to go to work. You burn out by the time you're 40, 42. I can give you a whole bunch of people who come to my stress management course. They look 65 at 40. They've got every disease you can name off, and plus more that the medical science will discover. Because this is what it does to people. You pay the price. So recognize that. If you want to succeed, pursue something that you're passionate about. So you got to have vision, you got to have passion. But if you have vision and passion and no action, nothing happens. I had one guy come to my seminar. He says, my karma that I don't have any action. I said, listen, it's also your karma that brought you to my class. So do something now. It's God's message to you. So recognize this. So we got clear vision, clarity of goal. You want to get somewhere. You are not tempted by the things that will come in your way. Then you have absolute faith in yourself. You know, even Hanuman, if you think about it, he couldn't take the leap. It was Jamban who told me that you are Pavan Sut. Otherwise, he had a crisis of confidence also. Is it right? If you have read Ramayana, Jamban was the one who encouraged him. So when I was talking about this shloka, let me come back to you for a minute. Amantram aksharo nasti, nasti mulam naushadam, ayogya purusho nasti. Listen to the last line. Yojakas tatra durlabha. But one who brings out the mantra from a letter of an alphabet, one who brings out medicine from a root of a tree, one who brings out best potential for people, those people are rare. And that's what you have to become for yourself. Bring it out. Or go to somebody who can bring it out. Swami Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa for bringing it out. And there is another thing. When you become Swami Vivekananda, you still have something to aspire to. And for that, you always have to be Jagrit or aware. And what I mean by that, let me explain. When Swamiji became such great saint, he was traveling all over India. And this was shared to me by Mr. D.R. Mehta, who was the chairman of SEBI. He was from Rajasthan, or he's from Rajasthan. He shared this because when he was a collector, he found this out when he was in Rajasthan. Beautiful, very touching thing and very telling thing. So Swami Vivekananda ji was traveling through Rajasthan near Jodhpur, one of the villages, and the village people decided such a great Swami is coming to our place, we must do something for him. Now what do? You cannot have a cocktail party for Swami Vivekananda, you know. Hey man, disco, you know. So they decided they will have a Kirtan Sandhya. So the organizers looked into the village for a bhajan singer, a Kirtan singer. They didn't find anybody. But there was one Tawayaf who was a good singer. So they went to her, he said, listen, Babuji kya kya kharido ke nahi jaane aaj. Aaj bhajan gaane ka hai. Paisa mil jayega. She said, okay. They brought her to the mission mutt. And the program was organized on the terrace. The organizers went to Swami Vivekananda ji. He said, we have organized this program for you. Would you please grace the occasion? So Swamiji asked, he said, who is the singer? So they told him, they said, Tawayaf. Swamiji said, I'll sit in my room and listen to her. He said, fair enough. Organizers went to the terrace and told the lady, he said, Aagaz kare mehfil ka. He said, Mehman-e khususi kidhar hai? You know, where is the chief guest? So they told her that he will listen to you from his room, the saint. First bhajan she sang, ladies and gentlemen, Prabhu mere avaguna chitna dharo. एक लोहा पूजा में राखत एक घर बधिक परो पारस कोई फर्क न जाने कंचन करत खरो. He said, oh Bhagwan, please overlook my weaknesses. Think that a piece of iron which is kept in a temple is worshipped as God. The same piece of iron could be in a slaughterhouse where the Kasai is using that to chop Janwar's head, the animal's head. But both pieces of iron, when he put in front of a paras money, it does not distinguish, it makes gold out of both of them. Why are you distinguishing? Vivekananda ji heard that and he realized that this is a message from God, that I got this ego left, that I am such an evolved being that I cannot go to a fallen woman who is singing. He got out of his room, he went to the terrace, touched her feet, he said, Ma, I learned something from you. And that's what makes Swami Vivekananda. And that's what makes great person.